Welcome to Room 101.
Room 101, where we go one-on-one with the great minds shaping the future. Meet the innovators in sustainable architecture.
You've got to build buildings that give back more than they take.
Green product design.
By designing better, greener products that work.
Alternative fuels.
Biodiesel is like a gateway. It's a gateway drug.
And ethical fashion.
Green choices and green lifestyle and green fashion doesn't have to be a bummer. It doesn't have to be a compromise. It doesn't have to suck.
Educate yourself on world events.
And I see global warming and global warming as being very, very intimately connected.
From the people who've experienced them firsthand.
We stood at the edge of villages and watched the government and the Janjaweed attack and burn and loot everything out of these villages.
And be inspired by the young entrepreneurs who are revolutionizing the way we do business.
You know, garbage is a commodity people are willing to pay you to get rid of. So that was sort of cool. You know, you get paid on both ends. It's a cool eco-business model.
Get smart with Room 101.
Hi everyone, welcome to G Living's Room 101. I'm your host Boise, and today on The Minds That Shape the Future, we're talking with CEO and founder Tom Szaky of the company Terracycle. And we'll be discussing what the Hungarian refugee raised in Toronto, Canada is doing in the future of eco-capitalism, and all that's coming up right here in Room 101. And welcome to Room 101. I'm your host, Boise, and we're with Tom Szaky today. Tom, thanks for coming to visit us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're based in Trenton, New Jersey now, although you're originally from Toronto, Canada.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and you have a 20,000 square foot factory there. And what do you make there? Why don't you tell people just in advance?
What we do in Trenton is we make products completely out of garbage. Our first product was actually organic worm poop, liquefied and packaged in used soda bottles. And we do all sorts of products that are made and packaged entirely out of waste. It's sort of our thing.
And you recently beat out the Facebook founder and CEO as the Inc. magazine's top executives under 30. So congratulations on that honor.
Thanks. I think it was a little bit of a fluke. But
well, humble's a good way to be too. So you tell us a little bit about the story about how you actually came about that worm poop was a product that you could see was needed in the workplace.
Well, I wasn't really an environmentalist to start. I came down to Princeton as an undergrad, and one of the challenges really was, you know, in Canada you can drink when you're 18. In the US, it's 21. So we all couldn't drink. We got in a car, fall break freshman year, went up to Montreal to take advantage of, you know, being able to go to a bar. And my friends in Canada were taking advantage of another really relaxed Canadian policy. They were growing ganja in their basement, and they were having a really hard time. You can imagine, you know, 19-year-old guys in hydroponics. It doesn't really matter. And so the plants weren't doing well at all. And but what was really exciting, by the time I got there, they were doing amazingly well. And it turned out that they had started feeding worm poop to the plants. And the plants just were doing really great. And, you know, worm poop's sort of like nature's fertilizer, so that made sense. And what really got me inspired sort of outside the plants was that they were taking garbage and feeding it to worms and making this great fertilizer. And what is garbage? You know, garbage is a commodity people are willing to pay you to get rid of. So that was sort of cool. You know, you get paid on both ends. It's a cool eco-business model. And came back to school, started working on it. And within 6 months, we had a big worm poop system. I ended up dropping out of school and started Terracycle. And that's, from there, we just blew up.
So you started Terracycle, 2003 was the first official year that you started it?
That's right, yeah. We had a big turning point in 2003 because we couldn't raise money. You know, you go figure, a worm poop startup, right? So we went around and entered business plan contests, and that's how we started getting funding. And in April 2003 was a sort of a big time for us because we'd run out of money. We had like $500 in our bank account. We had one big contest left that was for $1 million. And we entered, we won, but the venture capitalist that was putting up the money wanted us to sort of move away from garbage and just become another organic fertilizer.
Yeah.
And it didn't make sense, so we ended up turning the money down, and we're completely broke. No more money in sight.
So you win the contest, you don't take the reward.
Right.
And then what do you do?
Well, so we were stuck. We had to figure out some way to get money in or we were going to go broke. And so we thought, you know, wait a minute, we make a product out of garbage. Why not package it in garbage? And we went around to everyone's recycling container in the Princeton area, sorted out all the soda bottles they had, and we sort of lay them out on our floor and realized that there's only 4 different volumes of soda bottles, like 2 liter, 1 liter, and so on. And we, that day, started packaging our product in used soda bottles, like an old Coke or Pepsi bottle. And what was amazing is we became, at that point, the world's first product that is literally made and packaged entirely out of waste.
Now, was there anybody that even came close to being able to say that, or were you literally the first one that was ever done?
Still, after 3 years, no one's even come close. And now, you know, we've expanded this model where we're packaging packaging in milk jugs and 1 liter, 2 liter, all sorts of soda bottles, everything you can imagine. And no one's even come close, not even like close at all. And what's really exciting is that most eco-friendly organic products, and this is sort of the essence of why we've been successful, are more expensive. And they're more expensive because of how they're made. But because we make it out of garbage, which is like by far the most eco-friendly thing to do, it actually retails for less. It's not a premium price product, and that's why we were able to get our plant food into every major distributor in America pretty much.
Now, essentially at the time, and in 2002, 2003, when you're trying to figure out how to package this product that you were making in your garage, essentially, it was against the law in New Jersey to go through people's trash. And we call that now freeganism, where you're actually dumpster diving and going after things that other people deem as trash, but it's, valuable. How did you get around that? And you essentially started now $1 million company on breaking the law.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can't go through people's garbage. That was a lesson well learned.
Right.
And, the police told us that when they caught us doing it. But so we couldn't end up going through people's waste to collect garbage out. And we were faced with a problem when we thought, look, we're going to package and use soda bottles. How do we get the soda bottles?
Yeah.
So you can't just go to a bottling company. They don't have them. Recycling centers are tough too because they're all crushed at recycling centers and are destined to be sort of recycled at that point.
Yeah, and there's, I think I read 60 to 80 billion cans, bottles thrown away, go to landfills every year. And now you saw this entire market of packaging. How did you go about getting them implemented? Why don't you tell us how you did that?
Well, so we thought, the real way to implement a recycling system on this scale is to create your own system and to incentivize people. So we went to schools and we said, look, we're going to pay you 5 cents for every bottle you collect. We'll pick them up. We'll do it all. It was called the Bottle Brigade, but it blew up. I mean, it started out, with 10 schools, and that's how we first filled our first orders. And then since then, in a year and a half, it went up to 4,000 locations. Now there's pretty much within 20 miles of anywhere in America, there's a school collecting bottles for us.
Wow.
And the idea just grew and grew and grew, and we were able to create this infrastructure to build this really unique product. And that's sort of been a key to every product we launch, is how do we create an infrastructure to collect all this waste and keep it consistent. So it's this unique challenge, but it sort of worked out and we were able to make it.
Well, you've all got enough bottles now to last you, I understand, for the next year of manufacturing the Terracycle key product, which is the fertilizer.
That's right, yeah. And what we're really doing is trying to look at all sorts of waste streams. So we have, the Bottle Brigade collects currently 20-ounce bottles, and we have about 1 million of those, and we're looking at other products as well, other than just plant food to put into them. And then what else can you do outside that? Like we're just, in about 2 months, are going to be launching a product into Walmart and Target and Home Depot, which is a 1-gallon reused milk jug filled with solid fertilizer.
Oh, great.
And we're talking millions of milk jugs, and all sorts of, each product has this unique challenge around it.
Great. Well, when we come back with Tom Szaky of Terracycle, we'll be speaking about some of the other products they're offering now as we move into present tense of Terracycle. And we hope you stay with us. We'll be back. Welcome back to Room 101. We're with Tom Szaky, the founder and CEO of Terracycle. And Tom, recently, one of the competitors to your product came after you, the people that make Miracle-Gro.
Yeah, Scott's Miracle-Gro actually sued us about 3 to 4 months ago. And they sued us over 2 things. One was our trade dress, which is sort of the way the product looks. They thought that was confusingly similar. And then also some of the claims we were making about performance and how we were claiming that we were better than them. And the lawsuit went on. We luckily, we actually established a website, suedbyscotts.com.
I visited. It's hilarious and fantastic.
A lot of fun. Yeah. And all the stuff is on there, so if anyone wants to check it out, that's a good place to go. We luckily had a great amount of media cover the whole lawsuit, which was great because it's a very expensive process to go through a lawsuit. And then just recently, about a month ago, we settled with Scott's, and both of us, I think, are very happy now and can continue doing our business.
There's growth happening. You're expanding. You were a $70,000 company in 2004. This year, growing at a clip of 200%, which is down from 300%. But how do you deal with all that growth? How are you going to stay true to the product, given that you're just going to have to keep mass producing this?
Well, yeah, what's been exciting, the growth has been amazing. We did 70,000 in 2004, then 500,000, then 1.5 million. This year's 4. Next year, we're going to be close to 8 or 9 million.
Wow.
And it's been we're still very small, even at those numbers, but the growth has been amazing. And the big question, like, how do you keep getting more and more of this waste stream? And really what's interesting is the volume of garbage that's thrown out. Right now, if you look at soda bottles, there's 40 million thrown out a day. We're doing a line of products with juice pouches, but there's 3.2 3.6 billion thrown out every year. You know, and each waste stream, there's massive volumes. So what's really interesting is that our process is hugely scalable, and that's why we're able to sell in all the big box stores, which is sort of an oxymoron for eco-friendly companies, but we've really made our mark in the Walmart and Targets of the world. And so the scalability is neat because it's really much bigger than any of us ever thought about. But one really interesting thing, if you look at it from a really big picture, is think about garbage, right? It's, again, a commodity with negative value. It sort of has negative demand, and because of that, people are sort of willing to get rid of it and pay to get rid of it. Now, if you start having more and more companies like Terracycle out there, or we become a mega company, you know, doing $500 million in sales or something, we're going to have more and more demand for these waste streams. And as there's more and more demand, the price starts going up. So instead of negative $50 a ton, which is what garbage sells for today in America, it'll go to negative 40, negative 30, negative 20. And as you get to this magic point where you pass zero and it starts getting positive, you actually eliminate the concept of garbage. Because the moment it passes and the product you're no longer paying to get rid of, but you're paying, you know, you're buying it, then suddenly it's not waste anymore. It's just another commodity. It's like paper.
And this is something that this table has said quite often in eco-capitalism, is really kind of putting yourself out of business. You as a trash man, really trying to put yourself out of business.
Yeah, I mean, and we're going to make a lot of money in the process. And even if, you know, garbage turns from negative $50 a ton to $20 a ton, it's not really going to impact our margins. I mean, we're still very lucky in the way we produce and are able to grow and be profitable. But what is really cool is that big concept. And you're having, you know, with us, our collection of all this waste is done by thousands of schools across the country. And what's really neat is the people out there are empowering and actually doing it. Without people going and signing up on our website, we couldn't do it. We couldn't get those materials.
Talk about some of the other pieces of trash that you're pulling out of landfills, pulling out of plastic bags, pulling out of the dumps to bring to market. What are some of the other things you got in the hopper?
Well, again, we started with soda bottles. And then we thought, wait a minute, we can expand this idea of making a product out of waste and hence becoming better, greener, cheaper into other products. And what was really cool is there's big companies out there that have identifiable waste streams that are a problem. So take juice pouches, for example. There's 3.6 billion thrown out a year and they are not recyclable. By definition, they go to a landfill. Or yogurt containers. They're not really recyclable either, and there's almost 10 billion of them thrown out every year. So Stonyfield Yogurt recently came around, third biggest yogurt company, and gave us a big amount of funding to collect yogurt containers and in fact upcycle them, which is sort of what our company does. We take it, we don't melt it down or anything, we just, you know, change it. So we're making yogurt containers into planting pots and putting a hole in the bottom.
Like the ones you'd see like at a nursery, or you'd go buy an herb garden at a supermarket, for instance.
But what's cool is when you go and buy an herb garden, or, you know, to a nursery and you buy a plant, it's in that black flimsy plastic.
That's right.
Which on its own is a big environmental issue because that is not recyclable. You can't do anything with them. So with Stonyfield, we're sort of solving both problems. Upcycling yogurt cups that aren't really recyclable, and then solving the problem on the other end. Looking at all these businesses, it's so amazing what they throw out. So wine is a great example. Wine barrels, like you have to ferment wine in these beautiful wine barrels. It's African oak, farmed in Africa, shipped to France or Portugal, handmade in France or Portugal, then shipped over to California into Napa, Sonoma.
It's a lot of energy to get it here in the first place.
Well, and you can see it in the price. They're $700 to $1,000 each once they get to the vineyard. Now, they make red wine, 55 gallons of it, and they use it once. And then they throw it out. So we pick up.
Where do they normally go when they throw them out before you?
Well, you know, it depends because, you know, some people pick them up for scrap wood. Some people cut them in half to make planters, and then many of them just go to the dump.
And now tell us briefly, what are the two things you've created?
Well, so what we've done is we pick these barrels up, and out here in California we have a little factory, and we turn them into two different items. One is a rain barrel. So you imagine the barrel on its top, and you connect it to your downspout, fills with water, and you can use that water to garden your lawn or to water your garden and that sort of thing. Now we also have it where you flip it, the rain barrel on its side, and we have a base where it rotates, and it becomes this really cool rotating composter. And sort of to play into the essence of our company, rotating composters, if you went online right now, they're like $199, $299 each to buy, plastic ones. This wine barrel Terracycle composter will be at Home Depot for 99 bucks. That's the point, you know, you get this super eco-friendly solution, but people out there don't have to spend more money. And then what you're doing, like everyone, you know, here and even listening to this probably cares about the environment, probably gets it. But your average person walking into like your average Home Depot probably doesn't even know or care. And they're just going to buy on price, but they're going to buy the most eco-friendly thing, and that's cool.
That's great. So when we come back with Tom Szaky from Terracycle, we'll wrap things up and talk about what's next right here on Room 101. Thanks for sticking around. We're going to wrap things up with Tom Szaky from Terracycle. And you're moving from outdoors into the inside. You've got a drain cleaner that's coming out. Tell us about that.
Yeah, our Terracycle drain cleaner just launched in the Northeast and Home Depot. And it's the first out of a whole line of cleaners that we're bringing in. And what we're really trying to do is not just be your cute, worm poop in a soda bottle company. I mean, we started with worm poop in a soda bottle, but we want to bring this model of eco-capitalism and consumer goods to everything. So our drain cleaner, if you look at drain cleaners now, like Drano, they're very hard chemicals, and they're there to dissolve hair, and it's very, some aggressive stuff. So what we've done is we've developed a drain cleaner that's actually built on microorganisms that go into your drain and eat the drain line gunk and everything, and is a very non-toxic approach to cleaning your drain. And that's the first of a whole line, where you're going to see Terracycle window cleaner, all-purpose cleaner, I mean everything in the cleaning department done in our method, packaged and used, waste stream bottles, and then done in the most eco-friendly way possible, with the catch that, unlike most eco-friendly products that retail for like $5, ours are going to be the same as like your bottle of Windex, $3.
You got some people at your company that are driving the business side twice your age.
Yeah.
You must absolutely be driving them nuts with your ambition and with the amount of products. You're launching like 20, 30 new products in the next 18 months.
Yeah,
you must be making them crazy.
We launch roughly a product every 2 weeks, and we're going to keep that rate going for a very long time, and that is a lot of stress. I mean, we're not just launching a product that we're making a couple hundred of. I mean, each product we launch, it's thousands, if not tens of thousands of units into the world's biggest retailers, and it creates a lot of headaches. Most people in the company say, look, launch 1 or 2, and that's fine. So we're really pushing the envelope. It does create internal stress, but it also allows our company to really become a fantastic example.
In 10 years,
yeah.
People say Terracycle. What's that synonymous with?
We'd like to become in 10 years the eco P&G. Sort of, when you think Terracycle, you think a product in any category that is super eco-friendly, the greenest possible way to make it, super effective, and yet cheaper than what's out there. And in anything you look at, that's what we want to become.
Well, thanks for stopping by Room 101 to talk to us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us here in Room 101 for Tom Szaky, the founder and CEO of Terracycle. Everyone here at G Living, I'm Boise. We'll see you next time.